Yes, it's true. I did just get given this BMW completely for free. Now, before we get into things and before I get into the story about this car and why I got it for free, do me a massive favor, give this video a big thumbs up. It really does help me out and it shows your appreciation. Now then, what is this car right in front of us? So for those that know, this is a BMW E90 3 Series. It's a 2006 and it is a 318D. 318D, so it's the 2-litre diesel. I think from standard, with this being a pre-Aussie, I think they're about 120 horsepower, although I'm led to believe it has been remapped. No idea what sort of power it is running at the moment, but for all intensive purposes, these cars make great daily drivers. Now then, while I take you around the car, let me explain how I came about getting this car for free. So it was actually given to me by a viewer of the channel. Rob, if you are watching this, a massive thanks to you. Thank you for donating your car to the channel. I'm sure it's going to make some great content. But essentially, the previous owner of this car had this car for a number of years and he'd done a bunch of work to it. However, there's just a few jobs which are sort of out of his realms of being able to do it. There's some jobs where it would be ideal if you had a lift to do. It's not the best doing it on your driveway. This car was really kind of surplus to requirements. He was only using it for like a 2-mile round trip, and if you know diesels, you'll know that they're not best used on short journeys. And since he got his new car, this car was really not being used at all, and so now here we are. I have it on the channel. So what is the plan for this car then? So I don't think I'm going to be keeping this car myself. As you probably know, I have too many cars at the moment, dotted around here, there and everywhere. So I think I am going to get this thing fixed up to a degree and then move it on to someone that needs a cheap runaround, because I think this car is actually a very, very decent car. I mean, for the age, it's a 2006, so basically 20 years old. It's actually in very good condition. I mean, it is running the M Sport body kit, which I still think looks good to this day on these E90s. I'm not too sure what I think about these grills. You know, some people like them, some people don't. I do have a standard set of grills to put on, which I'll probably be doing. But yeah, in terms of the bodywork on this car, like, it's in great condition. I mean, there's no rust of any kind. There is the odd scrape here and there. I mean, like the odd scratch on the bumper. But in terms of like the overall condition, there's no dents or anything. Like the wheels, they're in great condition. It's got nearly new tyres all round. I'm pretty sure it's had all new brakes all round as well recently. Yeah, those discs and pads are like brand new. And let me take you into the interior. Now, a bit different. It's they're not the cloth seats. It's kind of like an Alcantara / cloth seat, which I actually think looks quite good. It kind of looks like a you know, a race seat, like kind of like a bucket seat. I mean, this is generally the material that race seats come in, and yeah, I think with a good clean, these will come up, you know, quite well, to be honest. Of course, with it being an M Sport, comes with the M Sport bit, so the gear knob and the steering wheel. Also things like the door sill trims as well. But yeah, again, the overall condition of this car on the interior, again, very, very good. Just needs a bit of a clean, I think. Let's have a look in the boot. I think there's just a bunch of old parts in there. This is that set of grills I was talking about. I'll put them in there. But if you have a look in this folder, there is honestly so much paperwork in this thing. I mean, this car definitely has been well looked after. So much paperwork. Comes with full service history. Like you can see, it's had regular services, you know, oil changes, when it should have had them. It's really done no miles at all between services. Definitely been well looked after, this car, which is good to see, because often when cars reach a certain age they can often be neglected because there's really not a lot of value in them, but this car has been continued to be maintained. Now then, what are the issues with this car? So I haven't actually plugged it in or done a scan of any kind yet. I will do that in just a moment, but I'm fairly certain the main issue with the car, or the most important issue, which I think I am going to attempt to fix, is we are getting some smoke coming from the engine bay. So let's pop the bonnet, and this is really going to be the first time looking in here. So again, haven't done any kind of investigating as such yet. When you start it up, you get some smoke from the engine bay, and then it makes its way into the cabin. Now this typically is either one of two things. So it can either be the flexi on the exhaust, they can fail, basically the exhaust gases then make their way up and then make their way into the cabin via the cabin filter, or it could be the rocker cover leaking oil down onto the hot exhaust, burning the oil off and again making its way back into the cabin. So I think the only way we're really going to know what it is we're going to have to get the main engine cover removed, fire the engine up and see where that smoke's coming from. Okay, so engine cover now removed, and I can't really see a whole lot going on down there. I was expecting to see the exhaust just completely covered in oil, but I can't see that. So at first glance it doesn't appear that we have a rocker cover gasket leak. It could be an exhaust leak. So I guess what we need to do now is fire the engine up and then try and see where that smoke is coming from. So, you can see some smoke. It does smell like exhaust gases rather than oil burning. So I found the leak. It's an exhaust leak and it's on the EGR cooler. So if you have a look down in here, right there, I think that's where it's cracked, in that join there. There is a line of soot, and yeah, I mean I can physically move that back and forth. I think it's just completely separated. It was kind of hard to distinguish exactly where the exhaust gases were coming from because it's just sort of all bellowing out of this area. But yeah, if I fire the engine up and wedge that in there, you'll probably see a little bit better. You'll probably hear as well. You can hear there is a physical exhaust leak. Yeah, that's definitely where it's coming from. Which is kind of good news, because I was initially thinking it was the flexi. They like to fail. Don't think it's that. I've been under the car. That looks okay. And then I was thinking, oh, I wonder if it's the exhaust manifold. I know they crack on the M57, the 6-cylinder diesels. It's not so common on the 4-cylinder, the M47, which is what this is. But I also know that this EGR cooler is pretty prone to crack there. So I do have a few options. I can do a full EGR system delete, which is what I do on all my own personal cars, again, because the EGR cooler, they like to crack. The EGR valve itself, you know, it just causes constant problems, and I just like to get rid of the whole system just so there's no issues there, basically. Or what I can do is remove this here and then install a blanking plate between the EGR cooler and the exhaust manifold, which means no exhaust gases will get through to the cooler section part of it. Now, this kind of does make sense that it is the EGR cooler leaking exhaust gases and not further down on the exhaust, because I noticed when I drove the car home it was particularly low down on power, like below 2000 RPM. Now, if you know about diesels, the EGR system basically is in play below 2000 RPM. So yeah, kind of makes sense that we wasn't getting the proper flow of exhaust gases through the intake, so basically wasn't getting the proper airflow into the engine. But after 2000 RPM, the exhaust gases shouldn't be going through the EGR system, they should just be going straight out of the exhaust. So yeah, that really does make sense now, but I just need to figure out best course of action, whether I just remove the system completely or just put a blanking plate in there and, you know, eliminate the exhaust gases, even making to where that join has failed. So now that we know the cause of the exhaust leak, I just thought I'd give the car a bit of a scan. So I gave the car a scan. I had a load of historic fault codes, cleared them, fired the engine back up, and then this is what we are presented with. So DD control unit internal 4, no idea what that is, and then a couple of FRM fault codes as well. But apart from that, we are looking all good, so I'm not too concerned with any of the modules in this car. I just think we need to, like I said, fix that exhaust leak, and then I think just give the car a good interior and exterior clean, and then the car will be ready for sale. Like I said, I want to keep it a cheap car for someone. I'm not going to go over the top like I have before, because whatever I do to the car, I need to, well, I'm going to have to get that money back, whatever I spent on it. And like I said, I want to keep it a cheap car for someone. And if somebody wants to fix all of the small minor issues on the car, then they can do so. I want this to be quite a quick turnaround. Let me know what you think I should do. Should I do an EGR delete? Bear in mind as well, if I do remove the whole system, I may have to get it mapped out, that could potentially, of course, incur an extra expense. I'm not too sure though. I don't know if I can just you know, remove the vacuum line on these and just plug it. I know on the earlier ones, you know, mostly in the E46s, you can just plug the vacuum line and it won't throw an engine management light or whatever. I also noticed that is going on. I don't know if this should have had an anti-shudder valve, and it's kind of had an anti-shudder valve delete, but I've never seen that blanking plug on there before. Yeah, very, very interesting. But yeah, let me know what you think. Should I remove the whole EGR system, or should I, like I said, just install that blanking plate and stop the exhaust gases making its way to the cooler? I want to wrap this video up anyway. Hopefully you all have enjoyed it. Remember to give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'll see you all very, very soon in that next one.